some things I want to talk about.
Let's talk about something.
You in your feels, Lonnie?
Mm-hmm. I was reading this article in Psychology Today.
Oh, one of my
Basically,
faves.
oh, you like that?
Yeah,
you know. Okay. The question that I was reading about.
Yes.
Tamara.
Yes, ma'am.
Jeannie.
Yes.
Munchkin.
I was like, did you forget my name?
No, I'll never forget your name. Is being positive a healthy way to cope, or does it make us avoid being difficult or avoid difficulty altogether? For example, you know how you will see somebody and they ask, how are you doing?
Yeah.
You always usually say, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Fine,
I'm
good.
okay.
Yeah. Or how you want to say, oh, you just keep everything positive, change your negative to a positive, or, you know, you don't really actually just take time to understand that sometimes you're going to be all right. It's like, say, for example, I had a breakup, right?
Yes.
And every time I did my breakups when I was early on, I would just go, you know, I'll be fine and I'll just deal with it, instead of, you know, maybe taking some time to myself to understand that it was a breakup.
To mourn
it and give myself some time. But instead, I was just trying to psych myself out.
Jedi mind trick yourself.
Exactly. And this article is saying that by not actually focusing on the negative,
dealing with it,
then there's a problem.
Oh.
Yeah. And you
I
never
always
make
view
yourself
positive thinking as, well, positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I get what this is saying, but I think that there's a level to this. Like, I think for me, myself, I would say my positive thoughts come from my faith, right?
Right.
And a lot of people could be like, oh, that just sounds stupid. But for me, even if, have you ever thought about this, Tam? I especially think you, because we were both raised like in super religious households.
Pentecostal family.
Literally. So, did you ever think, what if it was all a lie? And
how would I deal? Right?
And I have thought about that. And you know what? I would still be glad that Jesus was in my life regardless, because it helped me live a better life, a life filled with hope, a life filled with faith instead of fear.
Yeah.
Like, it gave me something to believe in. And I believe that we all need something to believe in. And that for me is good enough. So when you think about positive thoughts, even if everything is going wrong, I think it's important to not avoid that something bad is happening. I think you should confront the situation, recognize that this is really bad what's happening to me, but there has to be a reason for it. And I have to believe and be positive that it is all working together for my good.
As I got older, I started realizing, like, when I had breakups, that instead of avoiding it, I would give myself a set, like, maybe a couple of days to deal with it. Like, you know, I would eat the ice cream, or I would, you know, cry, and I would just be the reality of I was hurt.
You'd be
Instead
sad.
of trying to act
you
like
were
I
sad.
was.
You were allowing yourself to feel those emotions.
Right.
However, I think there's a difference between being positive and justifying something.
Ah.
So, for an example, you meet a girl who's just always, you know, rude, right? And then you have that friend like, oh, no, she's not rude, she's just real. No, sweetie, you're justifying it. You're not seeing it for what it is, right? Because there's sometimes people who use being real as an excuse to just be rude. I can't stand that. However, when I think of being positive, all you're doing is looking at a situation with a different perspective, right? And I know for me, when I go through situations, when I look at it from a positive standpoint, doesn't mean I'm not dealing with it. It just helps me get through the problem. A perfect example is, you know, when people are like, look at the glass of water, is it half, you know, full or is it half empty? I'm not saying that there isn't less water in it. I'm just choosing to look at it from a different perspective, and I'm saying, no, it's half full. I'm gonna get through this.
Okay, now somebody would say, but are you being in denial?
No, because I see that the water isn't all the way up to the top. Being in denial would be, no, it's not halfway. It's full.
But
I'm
going
still
back to
saying
Lonnie's
it's half
question,
full.
I think
empty.
for me, when I hear your question, especially in that context of asking how people are doing, we don't take the time, or we feel that people don't have the time to really answer and sit there like a therapy would, or a therapy session where you'd be like, well, actually, life is kind of whack right now, and I just got broken up with, and I'm broke, and I'm tired, and I'm stressed, or whatever it may be. But I think there is a difference between being positive and being dismissive. So, if you dismiss the reality of the situation, Sure, there might be a time where you're in passing with somebody, so you don't have time to tell them all that you have going on. But you gotta somewhere check it within yourself, because I learned at 40 that when you name it, you tame it. When you name what that issue is, right now I'm really tired. Right now I'm due for a vacation. Right now my kids are really, I gotta switch my schedule up because I'm not seeing my kids. When you name it, then you actually claim it and you can figure something out. But when you're just like, I'm fine, because you feel that others don't have time, or you feel that nobody else wants to hear your problem, or you have said I'm fine to yourself, that you haven't checked in with yourself, that is when you're not being positive.
And I think we have
like a bag of
if we're honest, I think we have to be better with responding to reality like that. Because if you ever gave a real answer when they're like, hey, how you doing? Not good. I just had a horrible morning, blah, blah, blah. And then the people are looking at you like,
No,
no,
the worst one is when there's an automatic reply because they actually weren't even listening to what you said.
Yes, it's so
You
real.
ask somebody, how are you doing? I'm good. Guys, this has happened to me.
Yeah.
Ask me how I'm doing. Go.
How you doing?
Hi, I'm good. Thank you. How are you doing?
Good.
Not
not
so
great.
well.
You want us to
I'm having a rough morning.
Yes.
Oh, that's good. How are you doing? I didn't hear it, and I asked the same question again.
Yes.
Because I was just so in my world doing my own
I
thing.
only
Yeah.
do that if they
That's
asking me
honest.
for some money. How you doing? I'm broke. Oh, how you doing?
The reality is, sadly, we do need to pay attention more to each other. I know I have to do way better at that.
Yeah.
But I love what Jeannie just said was, ask yourself how you're doing.
Well, and that's what was the
you
purpose
gotta
of it.
ask yourself and be
Yeah.
real
With
with
yourself.
yourself about it, and
Yes.
then find a positive perspective. You
Yes.
see how I did that? Bam, bam,
Yeah.
bam.
Bam! Hey,
right.
Adrian.
I love it.
Okay, well, so I was thinking about this recently because this has been brought up in my life in several times, and I want to hear what you ladies think.
Okay.
In several times in my life, I've heard this. So now I'm going to lay it out in French, y'all. So on Madame Noir, this article was written about whether or not men can take women's actions, innocent actions, as flirting. So I'm talking about actions like complimenting a man, complimenting him on a great job he did, maybe offering a seat, maybe just being polite in your everyday manners, and a man takes that as flirting.
You've offered a man a seat?
I have, actually. Well, I've offered him a line in front of me. Like, I've seen a guy have, less groceries, and I'm like, go ahead in front of me, you got a banana. Like,
They always think you flirting with them. That's the thing.
Okay, so I wanted to ask. I want to ask, has that happened to you where they think you're flirting, and what did you do, and how do you feel about it?
Well, usually, like, before I started actually dating, I would go to the bars and I would just sit and have dinner at the bar because it's just easier.
Yeah.
And so it's always a guy, usually it's a guy sitting there. And I would just speak to him. I just like speaking and talking to people. And, I would say 85% of the time, the guy thought that I was trying to pick him up. And I'm like, I'm not trying to pick you up. And some thought I was a call girl. I'm like,
Oh my gosh.
Are you serious?
Like, how do they respond where you think?
Hey.
They were asking some prices.
Got it.
What?
How does that make you feel when you're just being polite or nice, and then you got mistaken for
No,
flirting?
I tell him direct. No, I'm just being friendly.
Yeah,
it's
right.
like I have somebody. Even when I didn't have somebody, I was like, no, I'm in a committed relationship.
Okay.
I'm married. I
Right.
would lie. That's what I would do.
Lonnie,
A lie to get out of it, sure.
Yeah.
you just brought such perspective into my life.
What happened?
Because I was thinking about this, and I'm like, have I ever done this? Has somebody ever thought I was flirting with them? I actually have the opposite problem. I could have been flirting with somebody, and they never noticed. No, I swear it to you. Like, literally, I'd be like, hi, like, doing all of it, and they'd never notice. But then I just realized I have been mistaken for a prostitute multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm sorry. I know this is so off
how does
topic.
this happen?
You
Please.
just said it right now, and I just
Yeah.
thought to myself, I don't have the problem you're talking about, and I really thought about that because that's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
But I have been mistaken for a prostitute multiple times.
Break down the situation.
like,
like, what
how?
did they say to you, and how much did you offer?
I told you guys this story.
I'm just kidding.
I told you guys this story a few seasons ago. I was staying at Shutters in Santa Monica.
Great place.
And I
Love it.
left here and put on what I come in the morning with, which was like a sweatsuit. But I had all my makeup on still from doing the show. Shout out to Eva Kim. I had a crazy winged eye. She was doing my makeup that season.
She shouted out the makeup
Yes,
artist.
okay.
I can't.
It might be her fault why they thought I was a prostitute. Wait. No, I love her. Wait.
Okay.
So I went and I checked into the hotel. The hotel was already prepaid for on hotels.com.
Okay.
I walked in, and the woman who had like a French accent at the front desk would not let me check in.
What'd she say, though, that led you to thinking?
They actually were treating me as if I was a call girl trying to do my business there.
How rude.
I cannot make
Wait,
this stuff up.
did she tell you that, or what?
They treated me not very nicely.
Like Pretty Woman, like not nasty,
Yes.
Yeah.
No, for real. I think it's because I had a lot of makeup on for television for the lights.
Yeah?
And I had a Louis duffel bag with me.
Yeah?
And I had like a sweatsuit on. And I didn't have a credit card on me because I had lost my wallet. But I had my ID.
Yeah?
And they would not let me check in. And she kept doing this. You know when somebody thinks something, Sonia, you know. You know. And let me tell you, and I called my mother. My mother had to use a credit card, another credit, on the East Coast, by the way, 3 hours later. So I was calling my mom at like 1 o'clock in the morning.
Are you sure they just didn't have a problem with the fact that you had no money?
No, it was prepaid for on hotels.com. I had proof and a confirmation number and everything.
Sometimes they have to see.
No, they thought I was a prostitute.
Sometimes they have to see the credit card. They're always asking.
I always get asked for a
proof
credit card.
So I had to
Googled
wake my
my
mom
own
up in the
name.
morning. She had to fax the picture, everything. They were still giving me a hard time.
Oh.
And we called the next morning, and I pretty much asked to speak to the manager, and I was like, I was treated really badly. Like they did, like I was treated.
I don't think that they thought you was a prostitute.
Yeah.
They thought you ain't had no money. That's
No, but that's not the only time
straight
that's happened
think
to me.
that.
I've
That
gone
was
to
gonna be my
hotels
next
before
question, so-
and stood at a bar waiting for somebody, or whether I was waiting on Israel or something, and I have been
what?
asked.
Like what?
Approached.
yeah,
I
how
have been
much?
approached.
Yeah.
Like how much, or how long are you here for?
But girl, haven't you watched Dateline? This is when you reel them in.
Really?
Yeah.
Like how?
I mean,
I'd be scared, Joe. I'd be like, no, I'm
Come at
waiting
me,
for
man. I'm an advocate against trafficking. I will be there. I will give you rates. I will tell you where to meet me. I will
Someone
lure
said
you
that
in there.
because I was like, I had on a ring. Like you would think that they knew I was married.
Yeah.
They say actually prostitutes wear
Yeah.
wedding rings and
Yeah.
engagement rings. Like
Yeah.
that's part of their cover.
So do
Yeah.
thoughts. It's a real world out there. They all do.
They do, right? Like fake
Yeah.
engagement rings is a thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was my prostitute thing. I just wanted to get
Oh,
that off my
okay.
chest. I thought I should share that.
Okay.
But
I got you. I got
do
you.
you? I feel like Tam
Dang,
is such
what?
a nice person that
Yeah.
guys would absolutely think you're flirting
No,
when you're not.
you
They just
guys,
think I'm
I
a
was
prostitute.
such an awkward dater. Like, believe it or not, I didn't know when the guys were interested in me, and I didn't know what to do if I was interested in a guy.
That's so weird to me
Yeah,
because
I-
you're
but I'm very sexual. Yeah,
And
I'm very
sexual, you
sensual.
are.
But yeah, I don't know.
But you're so nice.
I know. They never were running after me like that. And I talked about this on The Real. I think it's because maybe they were slightly intimidated because I was the girl from Sister Sister or whatever. I never knew. I mean, the coolest...
They couldn't come at you like
Wait,
that.
Did you ever play alongside someone on Sister Sister and you were playing the role and they actually thought you liked them? Because your acting is so bomb, you know what I'm saying?
Well, thanks, Adrian.
No,
That's
never.
the thing. No,
Even
never.
the guys that played your love interest in life.
No, if
Strong
anything,
medicine.
I had a couple of crushes, but again, I was so shy, you guys. I was so shy. I didn't know what to do. Which is the reason why I'm so happy Adam was just so direct. He was like, listen, look, I like you. I was like, I like you. Let's do this.
There we go.
There we go.
Sometimes
I loved
it really should just be that simple.
Yes. I remember.
I swear.
So for seasons, right?
Yeah.
I remember hearing from you, Adrian, and you weren't the only one, from my friends that I came off flirtatious. And it actually offended me.
You did.
What?
Okay, so I heard it from both ends of this table. Everybody told me I was flirtatious.
Good to know. I'm sorry I offended you.
No, it was just, no, offensive in a way where like, no, I'm not. And you're like, yes, you are. And you're like in denial that you are, right? Sometimes it really does take somebody you actually care about and respect. And not that I don't respect you guys. No, wait.